Welcome, dear students. This is me, Aftab Khan, and you are watching on Professor Academy. Today, my topic is about parts of speech. It is a very simple topic, but most of the students unaware about the parts which we use in the speech, usually and in English. I will say that parts of speech. What is part of speech? Let me start from this definition that the words in a sentence can be divided into different kinds. I will write here that the words in a sentence can be divided into different kinds or classes. These kinds of classes of words are called parts of speech. So students, I have write here that the words in a sentence can be divided into different kinds or classes. These kinds of classes of words, these kind or classes of words are called parts of speech. Here it is all. In an English, usually we use 8 parts. I will discuss gradually, and I will start from the first, which is noun. I had to say that let me write first that what is noun. I will say that it is the name of a person, thing, place, etc. I have shortly, comprehensively defined here that it is the name of a person, thing, place, etc. Usually, I will give an example. For example, man, boy, book, pen, etc. Or the example of a noun. This is the first one. In parts of speech, this is the first part which has been defined here, noun. The second one is pronoun. I will discuss briefly because time shortage, or you may not get bored, so therefore I am going to discuss briefly these parts. The second one is pronoun. What is pronoun? So let me define here that it is used instead of a noun, to avoid repetition. Straightforward, we can say that the word which we use in a sentence instead of a noun, so that we may not get a repetitive situation like Aslam. When we use Aslam, then we will talk about Aslam, not Aslam. If we repeat this word Aslam in a sentence, we'll get bored. Also, it look very teddy to use the word again and again in a sentence or to repeat. So to avoid this repetition, we use the pronoun instead of this noun. So let me give you an example, that is I, we, you, he, all these things are known as pronoun. There are three cases of pronoun which is categorized into subjective and objective. We'll discuss it later, but first the three cases are first person, second person, third person pronoun. First we will divide this in two main categories, which is subjective pronoun, the second one is objective pronoun, subjective and objective pronoun. In subjective, I will write for the first person. For the first person, I will write here, for example, I, we. Actually, I is a subjective case. We can also be used in a sentence as a subjective pronoun. So, I, we is the first person. Second person for a subjective case will be here that second person you. This is the second person. In a subjective case, the third person can be used. Third person pronoun will be he, she, they, it. So the first person, second person, third person, all these three person can be categorized in the subjective pronoun case here, because I, we, you, he, she, they all can be used in sentence and can act like a subject and can be treated as a subject. For objective case, we'll use I will convert to me, we will convert to us. These are the objective case. You know that what is objective case? If you don't know about the objective case, I will discuss it. I will discuss in my next lecture. You can't be changed in a objective case. You can still be used as will be treated as you in objective case too. Or next, he, she, they. It can be converted into him. She can be converted to her, and they can be converted to them, while it can't be converted. Okay, these are the objective case in which we use these first person, second person, and third person. So it was all about the word pronoun. The next one in the part of speech as verb. What is verb? Let me explain that a verb shows an action in a sentence. I will say that it shows an action in a sentence. Actually, we should focus here that it shows action. The verb's main function is to show action in a sentence. For example, I will give you an example. Let me tell you that first I will use I'm going to school. Here, if we spread this mainly, actually the going comes from the word go here, and go is a verb. So what is my action here in this sentence? My action is I am going. Going, go, its second form will be go, went, and third form will be gone, go and gone. First, second, and third, and this is the verb go. So my action is to go to the school. So therefore, this is known as verb. The fourth one is adjective. Adjective. Let me tell you, students, that adjective is a word. I will say that it is a word. It is a word which qualify a noun. Which qualify qualifies a noun or pronoun. So I will say that what is adjective? Mainly I will focus on this word qualifies. Like verb shows an action in a sentence, adjective will show the qualification for a noun or pronoun. So this is the main task of the adjective, to qualify a noun or pronoun in a sentence. I will give an example. For example, Ali is a good boy. Good boy. Here, good qualifies who? Ali. Ali, good is the quality. Good is the quality of Ali. Ali is a good boy. It means that Ali is well mannered. Ali has a great manner. So good means good has qualified the word Ali. Okay. Next one is adverb. I will start. The next one is adverb. The fifth one is adverb. Adverb, I will say that adverb is a verb which qualifies a verb. I will say here that it is a word. It is a word which qualifies a verb or an adjective. It qualifies. What qualifies? A word which qualifies a verb. Unlike adjective, which qualify noun and pronoun, here adverb can qualify verb or adjective. So, for example, he speaks politely. He speaks politely. Here the word politely is known as adverb because it qualifies the verb speaks. Who speaks? He speaks. But how speaks? Politely, not rudely. So therefore, we can say that the word which tends the quality of qualification for the verb or adjective is known as adverb. Another example is Ali ran quickly. Ali ran quickly. Here, ran is the second form of run, and run is a verb. So, the verb has been qualified by the word quickly. Therefore, quickly is known as adverb. How can you understand about adverb in a sentence? Mainly, an adverb can be known by the word ly at the end of at the end of the word. For example, if I use the word quick, will add ly, so it becomes quickly. Mainly, we can understand the verb, the adverb from this ly. If we add ly at the end of a word, it becomes adverb. So this were all about the word adverb. Now, the next one is hopefully you will have understood all these 5 types. Now, the 6th one is preposition. Preposition. It is a word. It is a word that tells us They tell us the position of one thing in relation to another thing in a sentence. So the word which relates one thing with another thing in a sentence is known as preposition. For example, I will give you an example. I go to school. Here, I go school. Without preposition, the sentence will not deliver its complete sense to the speaker or the reader. So I will say that I go to school. To here is a preposition because it link the subject verb with the object. So the to is known as preposition. Other example of preposition are up, par, off, down, over, it. It can further be categorized preposition of time, preposition of place, etc. But I will talk these and discuss these preposition in the next lecture, inshallah. But now I will go to the seventh one, which is about conjunction. It is a word that joins together words, phrases, sentences, etc. For example, Ali reads but Ahmad writes. Ali reads but Ahmad writes. Here the word but joined two different events in a sentence. Here Ali reads but Ahmad writes. But is known as a conjunction. Similar and other kind of conjunction are example of conjunctions are while, that, are, and, etc. These are the kinds of conjunction. The last one is article. Here in preposition, the last one is article, and article is the last part in the speech of English especially. But let me tell that an and the are known as articles. Dear students, a and the, these three are known as articles, and I will discuss in the next lecture about the word a and the, because it is a little bit longer topic and contain much more to be discussed in the next lecture. Thank you, but keep in mind that I will discuss the word article in my next lecture. Thank you, dear students. Hopefully you will have enjoyed my lecture for today's grammar class, and if you haven't subscribed this channel, Professor Academy, go and subscribe and click on the bell icon to get my latest lecture via my YouTube channel. Thank you for joining me for today's session.